Deep within the heart of distant mountains, in a palace that shone like a constellation, a princess named Liana was born. Its walls glittered with crystalline flowers and golden statues, but this fortress of beauty held a dark mystery. From her earliest days, something about Liana was different. Her eyes were like deep, reflective pools, mirroring the world in a way no one could quite comprehend. It was as if she could glimpse the future and read the secrets hidden in every heart. Liana was raised amidst unimaginable wealth and power, yet she never felt the warmth of her people's love. To her, the peasants, the merchants, and the soldiers were nothing more than pieces on a vast chessboard. Their lives meant only to serve her strategic interests. Year after year, this feeling of superiority twisted into a terrifying conviction: the kingdom was weak, and for it to be truly strong, half of its people had to vanish. The day she decided to act, Liana summoned her most trusted advisors to the throne room. Darkness clung to the chamber, with only flickering candlelight dancing against a cold breeze that crept through the open windows. Her voice cut through the silence, sharp and unwavering. "You must all understand," she declared, "that power is not given, it is enforced. Half this kingdom will not see another dawn, and those who remain will finally learn the true meaning of obedience." With chilling precision, Liana began to orchestrate her horrifying plan. Secret messages were dispatched to the guards, and hidden signals were placed in villages and cities, marking who would live and who would be erased. She chose the cloak of night, using chaos as the perfect cover to select her victims. On the first night, the purge began. Guards descended upon small villages, homes were set ablaze, and people disappeared into a terrifying, suffocating silence. But the true horror wasn't just in the act itself, it was in the method. The princess demanded that the victims be chosen at random, forcing a farmer to choose from his own family, a soldier to pick from his comrades. In this way, she made everyone complicit in the crime, weaving a web of shared guilt and despair. The kingdom was plunged into a living nightmare. Even the heavens seemed to cry out, as lightning tore across the sky and fierce winds howled through the now empty streets, carrying the echoes of unspoken goodbyes. By the next morning, an eerie silence had fallen. Half the kingdom was gone. The roads were deserted, the bustling markets were quiet, and the skeletal remains of partially destroyed buildings stood as grim monuments to the night's events. Liana stood on the palace balcony, surveying the desolation with a cold, triumphant smile. But for the first time in her life, she felt a strange, sharp pang in her chest. She had achieved absolute power, but it came at a staggering price: a profound loneliness, a hollowing isolation, as if half of her own soul had vanished along with her people. In the weeks that followed, a new kingdom began to form from the ashes of the old. The survivors, paralyzed by fear, obeyed Liana's every command without question, but terror had planted seeds of eternal resentment in their hearts. Every night, they were haunted by the phantom cries of those they had lost. Feeling their presence in every shadow that danced across the kingdom, the air itself felt heavy. With sorrow and unspoken rage, Liana, too, began to change. She moved through the grand palace like a specter, trusting no one, not even the advisors who had helped her execute the massacre. Sleep became a luxury she could no longer afford, and the long, silent nights only deepened the darkness in her eyes. She started to question if the power she had seized was worth the ocean of blood and terror she had unleashed. But she had come too far. The intoxicating allure of absolute power had blinded her to any path of redemption, any flicker of mercy. Years passed, and the palace grew darker, the kingdom quieter. Liana's story spread like a plague to distant lands, whispered in taverns, and told around campfires. It was the tale of the princess who sacrificed half her people for total control, and of the suffocating darkness that enveloped her kingdom like an unliftable shroud. Some whispered that her spirit never found rest, that every dark night carried the endless cries of the past. The survivors lived in a state of perpetual fear, knowing that the darkness could return at any moment, that the whims of their queen could once again bring devastation. And so, Liana sat upon her throne, a solitary figure in a vast, empty hall, gazing out at the silent kingdom she had forged. It was then that she finally understood the bitter truth. Her absolute power had come at an unbearable cost. Half her people were gone, and with them, half of her own heart. Her kingdom was no longer a place of life, but a monument to silence and a dark, indelible memory. Liana, the princess who sought ultimate control, had become nothing more than the most infamous figure in history's bleakest tales of terror, a queen reigning over a kingdom of ghosts. Thank you for joining us for this dark tale. If you were captivated by the story of Princess Liana, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more stories that explore the shadows of the human heart. We'll see you in the next one.